everybody. How are you? Beautiful Friday morning in Columbus, Ohio area. We're going to do a video on the community of Amity, just west of Columbus. Very interesting history. And so if you're familiar with Columbus, we are slightly northwest of town, outside the 270 outer belt. And the community of Amity, I knew nothing about. I was at the laundromat washing some permanent press 65% cotton, 35% cotton shirts. And the lady next to me was talking about, what kind of laundry detergent to use. And I appreciated the advice, because I've never known, should I use the cold temperature detergent with cold water? Do you really need hot water on everything? What about warm? Can you use warm just for everything? Is it some sort of industry conspiracy to get you to use different temperatures? I've never known exactly. So I appreciated the advice that she came up with, and we started talking about these videos I've been doing, and she mentioned Amity. Now, I don't know if she's an expert, but she did have an Amity High School class of 93 t-shirt, and her head was adorned by a headband that was pink with sparkles in it, and it said, Amity forever, Dublin never. So I don't know what was going on there. Maybe it was some local rivalry. But guys, this community is really fascinating, because if you remember the movie Jaws took place in a beachside community called Amityville. Now, after that Jaws terror, that Jaws scare back in the day, when that documentary was made about the shark that was terrorizing that town, some of the residents said, that's enough for us, we're out. And some Amityville residents that had had enough of the terror, really, that was gripping that town because of the shark and the resulting publicity from that documentary called Jaws, about that just unbelievable tragedy that they experienced. They said, look, we're going to get as far away from the ocean as possible. And they came here to Ohio and moved to the farmland. Now you can see how there's corn, there's soybeans as far as you can see. And you can see, whereas if you had a tragedy happen in your town of a shark that's basically eating your friends and family, attacking them, this may seem like an overreaction to move to Ohio, but they moved to Ohio out in this flat farmland west of Columbus and named the community Amity in honor of their former town back east. Now, I made some phone calls to Amityville to see if they had any comment, and I did get the current mayor on the phone. Let's go to that audio right now. Hello? Yeah, what can I do for you? Mayor, this is Joe. I'm over here in Columbus, Ohio. We're trying to get some comments on some of your townsfolk that moved to Ohio after the tragedy of the shark back when that documentary was made called Jaws. Do you have any knowledge of that? Joe, I was just born back then, and I didn't really experience it myself, but yes, it did grip our town. It ripped it apart, literally and figuratively. And I heard tell that some of the folk went out there to Ohio and set up on a farmland out there. Well, do you think that was an overreaction? Do you think it was psychotrauma, you might call it? He goes, well, I mean, I don't know about them big words and all. We're out here on the coast. We're just putting our feet in the water and smoking a cigarette and trying to enjoy the weather. But I mean, I could see where if somebody were upset with a shark biting their family member in half, that they might want to pack up their station wagon and drive until they ran out of gas. And they said, "How about here?" And they were in Ohio, and they just set up shop, right? They set up shop, and that seems to be what's going on out there. Well, you're right. I mean, they named the town Amity. I mean, I might think that if they were trying to get rid of every memory, they would name it something else. He goes, well, I mean, Joe and all of us is a connection in our heart to our homeland and to our kin. And Amityville is where they grew up. Amityville is where they knew their cousins, dated their cousins. And sometimes you just want to have that connection so that you remember who you were before the psychotrauma, as you say. Well, I think you're right, Mayor, and I appreciate the time. So I'm going to share this audio with my viewers on YouTube. You don't mind, do you? Oh, no, go ahead. Tell them, hey, from Amityville, and come on back and get in the water here, enjoy our beaches. Them sharks are long gone. All right, Mayor, I appreciate that. And I was wondering about the mayor's accent there, because he sounded a little bit more like he was from rural Kentucky than Amityville. But I guess he got a job there out of his high school in Kentucky. Got a job out of high school there and worked there ever since, and eventually became mayor. So I appreciate that, Mayor. Well, guys, there you have it. An interview with the mayor of Amityville and his views on what I term the psychotrauma of that shark attacking those people in Amityville, and the resultant documentary from the documentary filmmaker Steven Spielberg. And I mean, you can't go wrong though. Look at this land; it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. You can just stretch out, right? There's freedom here. You might have to drive a tractor to make a living, but you'd be out in your tractor by yourself, just singing country songs, and that's got a certain value to it. Hey, I used to live in Amityville. My wife is Jean and my name is Bill. But the shark bit my cousin in half. I knew I had to move before I lost my mind, and I moved to Amity, Ohio. Country song like that. So guys, that's a quick snapshot of Amity here in Ohio. Really fascinating story. Come on back. We got a whole lot more parody videos. We got a lot more comedy videos, and you're going to enjoy them. About Ohio, about Columbus. We're going to be down in Athens soon. We're going to do some from there. Talk to you soon.